Hello and welcome to another video. So for this one, I was kind of tagged to do this tag. I know you have to have, or at least with the research that I've done, you need at least 1,000 subscribers to be able to actually tag people. And the channel that tagged me has over 600, but they're not at the 700 or at the 1,000 mark yet, and I'm definitely way under that. So I'm doing this tag because I think it is fun and is a great way to mention some people that not so many people may be aware of. I guess is a good explanation. Although there are plenty of people I will be mentioning that I'm sure many of you, if not all, have already heard of them and are aware of them, and more than likely probably watch their channels because they have a huge subscriber base. But let's go ahead and get into it. So the tag is the Booktubers Favorites Tag. So I have the questions written down and my answers, so I'm not kind of meandering too much. Try and keep me focused. The channel that I saw do this was Becky and Scott from the Bookish Bryants, and they're the ones that tagged me in it. So I am going to do this as well. They mentioned that it was originally created on the channel ABibliophilesJourney, so I will put that in the description box, as well as the Bookish Bryants, which if you haven't checked out their video, I highly recommend. Their channel is just awesome. I love it. So let's go ahead and get into question. I kind of want to say prompt, but it's more of question. So question number 1. A booktuber you've watched the longest. So I had to think about that. The very first booktuber I ever found that I subscribed to his channel is Simon from Savidge Reads. I know he's located in, I can't remember, I think England, but I don't know where in England. So he has very different reading tastes from me, and are some books that I've picked up that are ones that he's mentioned that I have enjoyed, and others not so much. But that's just how that's going to go with all reading tastes, and you have your own life experiences, so you're not always going to like everything that someone else likes. But he is the first one, and I like how he says, and I can catch myself wanting to say it. In America, we say, or at least in the part that I am, if you just keep talking, you're just blabbering. But I've learned that where he's from in England, it's waffle or waffling, unless it's his own unique word. But he's fun. I highly recommend his channel, and I'll leave all of these channels I'm going to reference in the description box, as well as the questions if you would still like to do this tag. I think it's a great tag to do. Question number 2, a booktuber you just started watching. So there's 4 I'm going to mention. So the first one would be, and when I say just started watching, I'm going to say within the last month or 2, so very fairly recently, not started watching yesterday or today. So within the last month or 2, I have started watching the Bookish Bryants, the channel that has tagged me in this. So thank you very much. I'm very excited to do this and very honored to have been tagged. Seriously, really, thank you. The second channel is Books with Maddi. She does a TBR game that's really fun to watch, where it's like deck of TBR, and she draws out each card in a deck of cards corresponds to a reading prompt. Her last few, the ones that I've watched, and I've back watched a few of them once I found her, but they've kind of, as it's gone on, her TBRs have gotten out of hand. So she'll start with a certain amount, and then of course there's punishments. I can't remember how much she ended up with, but more than 15, I think, like 18 or 20 books this last month. So she's kind of rethinking on how to redo that a little bit so she doesn't get so laid down with it, because she is in school as well. And let's see, so that's Books with Maddi, and her name is Maddi. The other one, I think this is one of the newer ones, like less than a month that I found her, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that is Castle Library, and the creator is Princess. She does a cool TBR game too, so you can tell I like TBR games. But she does hers different than any that I have ever seen. It's definitely a unique TBR game. Her intro is kind of like Mario, but she's the princess and her name's Princess. But it's like a Mario game, castle and the princess. And then her TBRs are like quests, which are really fun. And she shouts out a lot of, or she always mentions at the front of her channel that Black Lives Matter, and other information she always references. She has a lot of information, so I do definitely recommend, if you check out her channel and are interested, check out her description box as well, to get more information about Black Lives Matter and other information and sources that she'll have below. So the next booktuber that I just started watching recently is The Bookish Life of Laura. Ophelia has decided to stop in for a cameo. She wants to eat, so I have my fairy lights here. Oh, she loves a chest rub. So I have the fairy lights there on my bookcase. She likes to eat the cords, or tries to, and I'm trying to get her to stop. I love you, pretty girl. Okay, so back to the question. The other booktuber I was mentioning was Laura from The Bookish Life of Laura. She, in November, just started a brand new game. And oh man, I was on the edge of my seat. She based her TBR game on the game Operation. So it's the game that has the person laying on an operation table, and you try to pull out parts of the body, and if you touch the metal ring around that part, it buzzes. And so when it buzzes, she gets a punishment. Oh man, I was on my edge, the edge of my seat. It was just awesome. But I look forward to watching her channel grow. I think she will have a great channel. I like her channel so far, and I think her channel will only skyrocket and improve, as I think is a goal for improvement for a lot of booktubers. Number 3, a booktuber you've become friends with. This one I don't really have an answer for, because it's very hard for me to say that someone is my friend, because I struggle with, am I reading the social interaction and cues correctly? Do they consider me a friend? It's like, can I consider someone a friend but they don't consider me a friend? And I just really struggle with that. So I don't, unless someone were to say, I do consider you a friend, and I feel that same way. But other than that, I have a very hard time with that. So as of right now, I don't have anyone. And the other thing too is I'm still so very new to this platform. I don't know if I've had enough time to make friends. There are some booktubers that I watch that I would love to be friends with. And I think if we keep interacting, then we'll get to that point. But yeah, I don't have an answer for that one. Number 4, a booktuber you get most of your recommendations from. So this one I have 3. So the first one will be Becca from Becca and the Books. She reads a lot of fantasy. She's gotten me very interested in Brandon Sanderson. So I just recently purchased a Brandon Sanderson book, and I've done some research, and it's the one that they recommend. I can't remember the title of that book, but it's one to recommend starting with if you're very new and haven't read any of Brandon Sanderson's, it's a great lighter introduction compared to any of the other books you try to delve into. So a lot of fantasy recommendations from her. From the other one would be Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction. I like reading classics and retellings. There's a lot of books I like to read, but I get most of different classics I've never heard of on my radar, retellings of classics, compilations of folklore and fairy tale and Greek mythology and things like that, retellings and gathering of short stories and analyses and anthologies, I think is the word I was looking for. No, yes. Anyway, so just that, she does mostly that, and so yeah, that's where I get most of those recommendations from. The other big one that I get, and these three are all big channels, as I'm sure you already know, but the other one I get a lot of recommendations from is Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. I have, and it's thanks to Gavin that I have finally been able to burst out of this bubble or tear down this wall, because I was so under the assumption that because I'm an adult, I can't like middle grade, so I shouldn't be reading the middle grade because, yes, I'm not the target audience, but because I'm not the target audience, I can't enjoy it. I thought that was a hard and fast rule. And so with Gavin being an adult and hyping up a lot of these books, he's put several of them on my radar, and I've read some of them. And then of course with Goodreads, it's like, if you like this, you like this book. And so I've been able to accumulate a bunch of middle grades I would like to check out. And if you watch his videos, you'll see a whole row of like Goosebumps books. So I'm like so happy that he has R.L. Stine books on his shelf. Yes. Okay, moving on. Number 5, a booktuber you watch who reads a genre you don't. I read a lot. There are some genres I don't read as much of. From the few videos, and this one's also a fairly recent one. And from the handful of videos that I have seen, I think she reads a lot of books I have read a few out of. Don't know if it's my favorite genre yet, because I've only read them by one author, which I did enjoy. But she reads, I see her post about mangas and graphic novels, things like that. And that is, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, so if you see this, I am very sorry. And I try and catch how she says it. Gia Athena. So again, I'll put her channel down below as well, but she's read a lot of books that have never been on my radar, because they're just not genres that I have gravitated towards. And so I'm very intrigued to pick out some of the books that she has talked about and has liked to delve more into those genres. Number 6, a booktuber whose videos make you happy. So this one I also have 3, and these are more happy mostly due to the aesthetic, and 2, they're just fun and personable in their videos, which that could be an act, but I think it's genuine, the way I've heard other people talk about interacting with them. And their personalities are just awesome. All of these booktubers have awesome personalities, but whenever I see a new video posted by one of these 3 booktubers, I just get really excited, and I've got to watch it as soon as possible. And that is the first one, and these are in no particular order. Lexi and her channel is Alexandra Rosalind. She is working on her master's to become a librarian, which, bravo to her. Wonderful. I used to work in a library as a shelver, and I absolutely loved it. But again, it was I can't love it because it's only a part-time job at that time, and I'm supposed to interact more with people instead of just being down with the shelves of the library, shelving books or putting books back in order. I want to get back to that, but it would have to be a full-time job where I can have health insurance and all that other stuff. Adulting. I wish I could get a full-time shelver job at my local library. I really do. I don't have to worry about the lighting be too bright. It's generally quiet. It's routine for the most part. And so for what I struggle with my autism and sensory stuff, I think it would be an ideal place to get back to. I absolutely loved it, and I would love to get back there. And let's see, number 2 would be Cody from Cody's Book Corner. She has 2 cats. I'm blanking on one, but I know that one is Bellatrix, and she calls her Bella. Tibbs is the other one. Those cats, I love when those cats make an appearance. And then she has the Wheel of TBR. It's gotten to where she needs to, she's mentioned getting a new one, like making a new one, because it keeps falling off her wall and getting banged up, and it's just, I don't know, she's just very awesome. And I like how she is open about why it's like when she has gaps where she hasn't filmed, how she's struggled with mental health. So if you want to watch someone who's a little bit more open about something like that, she doesn't get into too much detail because it is personal and it's a personal decision, but she is definitely one to check out. The other one, and this one she just makes me smile, and her videos make me feel extremely cozy. And that is Desi from Darling Desi. I always think of when I watch her videos and part of it's because of the memories that her videos trigger. I always think of I Love Lucy, or of Lucy from I Love Lucy. And when I see her videos with her bright red hair, I think of that, and that reminds me of times when I was little and I would go, when my mom and I would go and visit my grandma in Colorado. That's one of the shows that we would continually watch at night while we were there and trying to wind down for the day from shopping and all of that. So just a lot of good memories come flooding back to me when I watch her videos. And I recently saw in one of her videos, it was I can't remember if it was a vlog or kind of like a how to be, don't you be eating that cord. No. How to build a certain atmosphere or something like that. And she had a black dog. She had a big black dog, and that reminded me of a black German Shepherd lab. It was a lab. It was a Labrador. Just know it was a Labrador. That's the word. Black Labrador, but he was half Labrador and half German Shepherd. Was the dog that I had, and his name was Fred. So seeing her dog really made me think of Fred. My parents got him before I was born, so I have. I was in fourth grade when he passed away. So I've known him for quite a while. And so that just brought back a lot of fun memories with seeing her dog there. Question number 7. A booktuber you'd love to do a buddy read with. So in the month of December, I'm already doing my very first buddy read. Although the ones I've been doing with my mom can consider a buddy read, but outside of that, I am doing one in December for Don Quixote with Becky and Scott from the Bookish Bryants, and they're the ones that tagged me in this video. So hello! So that is my first official buddy read. I am going to do a buddy read in January with someone who shall remain nameless at this point. You'll have to see my January TBR, because it will be in January. I will tell you, we are going to read Emma by Jane Austen. Yes, by Jane Austen. But other I would love to do a buddy read with a whole bunch of booktubers. But one of the ones, and I just blanked on her name. Let's see. So one of the booktubers I would love to do a buddy read with is Holly from a novel, Curiosity. I just think that'd be really fun. The other one I think would be awesome is Heather from Bookables. Yeah, she's just awesome. And she has mentioned this several times on our channel, so if you're wanting to find someone that has some sort of a relation with autism, she would be one to check out. She has a family member that is autistic, and she mentions that quite a few times, especially on her vlogs, just so you're aware. So that would be definitely be a good one to check out. So yeah, so but she has some really good like contemporary and contemporary romance chick lit recommendations I get too from her. So question number 8 is a booktuber with under 1,000 subscribers that you love. I've picked 2. There are a whole bunch of them, but one of them would be Esme from Bookish Buddies. Her channel is so awesome, very warm, and you just get a welcoming feeling. The other one is Pam from Books of Honey. I think she mentioned she was a teacher or works in education. She does a TBR Jenga game, and I am surprised that both of these channels have less than 1,000. I would see their content and think that these would be some of the big, huge booktubers, but unfortunately they are not. So if you're so inclined and haven't checked them out, definitely click the links in the description box for their channels to check them out and maybe subscribe and give them a little love. A booktuber with over 1,000 subscribers that you love. Again, there's a whole bunch, but ones that I have not mentioned would be G from Book Roast. She's open with health issues to, obviously to a point that she has, with migraines and stuff. She also has 2 cats that are just hilarious. You hear them in a lot of her videos, which it just makes me smile. She has an awesome partner that she's living with, who's made some cameos in several of her videos as well. Chelsea from Chelsea Palmer. She does a lot of unboxings, and she works in the animal industry. I think she's a vet tech or a vet. I think she's a vet tech. Can't remember, but she lives on a farm and has several goats, and her goats will help pick the books for the month, and a lot of the times, and it's just, so she's very animal. You see her cats and kittens, and yeah. So I love it when booktubers have animals that make cameos, especially if they're cats. And the third one I'm going to mention is Brittany from Brittany the Bibliophile. She's kind of a newer one, although not, definitely within the last year that I've found. She lives in, I think, Nevada. And so she's fairly statewide, close to me. That's like the next kind of state over. We kind of connect a little bit. If I remember my geography right, which I think I am. I'm so bad with geography. She dresses up for some of her videos, does her makeup really cool. She is a very talented artist. She will show you kind of how she does her reading journal, and it just blows my mind. She is amazingly good with that, and sometimes I don't think she gives herself enough credit with that, which, hey, we all do that. But she is just amazing, and she has some cats as well, so and they will sometimes make an appearance. So that is the Booktuber Favorites Tag. If you would like to do this video and have not yet, please consider yourself tagged. Again, from what I've researched, I can't physically tag someone. I can link their channels below for you to check out, but because I have less than 1,000 subscribers, I can't tag people yet, which I wish YouTube would change that. But that's why I won't officially tag anyone, and because I'm still so new to this and still getting to know who would like to be tagged and who would not, and things like that, and what kind of tags they would like to do if you do tag them. So, yes. But all my social media information will be in the description box as well. And again, please feel free to do this tag. And if you want to say you've been tagged, definitely you can say you've been tagged by me to do this. And I hope you have fun doing this tag. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.